Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja. Thank you for joining us. I am Mina Daniels. The headlines. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa engages heads of security agencies on curbing security threats in the South.
Food inflation and the availability of food, the affordability of food, and of course, the care for our young ones and our expectant mothers.
Federal government approves new measures to combat malnutrition. Senate meets heads of key MDAs towards revamping economy. CDC gives update on cholera and rainfall warnings. As directed by President Bola Tinubu, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, engages heads of security and intelligence agencies to review operational strategies in the South to curb security threats and improve oil production. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at the Defense Headquarters venue of the crucial engagement, has details.
Crude oil is Nigeria's dominant source of revenue. Despite the importance of these resources, Nigeria loses trillions of naira to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. In March 2023, for instance, Nigeria lost 65.7 million barrels of crude to oil theft. Worried by this unpatriotic act, President Bola Tinubu directed the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to review operational strategies in the Niger Delta.
Oil thefts and vandalism have become a major national issue. We do have line of sight around what must be done, what should be done. Mr. President has directed the CDS to ensure that we contain this within the shortest frame of time so that we can restore national production to the level that Mr. President and our country is expecting. And to do this, it needs the coordination and cooperation of all armed forces.
What we are promising Nigerians is that henceforth, the entire South will be cleared of any acts of vandalism, criminality within the general area. The President has given us a mandate to ensure that we secure the entire South and to enable NNPC and other IOCs carry out their tasks so that we can have improved production. We're going to work together as a team. All the operations will be harmonized.
We accept that we have challenges and we accept that we must all come together to solve these problems. So we need the cooperation of everybody. All agencies are collaborating. We need the cooperation of members of the public.
The Chief of Defense Staff stressed that results will manifest in 3 months. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Social and economic life and above all, civil authority are now fully restored in Baga town of Kukawa local government area of Borno State, once under the total control of Boko Haram. As Operation Lake Sanity 2 of the Multinational Joint Task Force MNJTF in collaboration with Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai successfully comes to conclusion. This came up during a media tour of the operational area in Baga in Sector 3, Borno State, Nigeria. Defense correspondent Abubakar Musa reports.
Intervention of the Multinational Joint Task Force, actually the school is back to its shapes.
These are inhabitants of Baga town in Kuka local government area on the fringes of Lake Chad in Borno State, given a clear testament of the restoration of critical issues such as health, agriculture, education, as well as civil-military relationship to the hitherto troubled community owing to the activities of Boko Haram insurgents. Baga town, linking Nigeria to neighboring countries of Chad, Niger and Cameroon, used to be one of the biggest commercial hubs for smoked fish in Nigeria before insurgency. The introduction of Operation Lake Sanity 2 of the Multinational Joint Task Force has, however, brought significant peace to Baga in almost every ramification. with the traditional institution fully on ground to further facilitate matters concerning peaceful coexistence and socio-economic activities.
We saw a progress, looking forward for other support.
Pupils and managers of public schools are showing enthusiasm for returning to the class, hoping to make up for the academic activities lost so far.
A visit to a school like this in Baga will leave you with no any other choice than to pray for more security presence for these children to be able to realize their full academic potentials. From Baga in Borno State, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
And in line with the President Tinubu administration's efforts to improve the nutritional status of Nigerians, the National Council on Nutrition has approved new measures to combat malnutrition and food insecurity in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima at a stakeholders meeting called for active and proactive participation from all involved. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
Among the approved measures is the establishment of a national nutrition dashboard, which will be uploaded on the website of the National Council on Nutrition, aims to provide better oversight and coordination of nutrition-related initiatives across the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave reference to the recently created Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit, which operates within the framework of the Presidential Economic Coordination Committee, which recognizes the urgency of the food crisis and addressing its underlying causes with a view to developing more resilient and sustainable food systems in Nigeria.
The world over, there is 30% of the world is affected by food insecurity to one extent and the other, and Nigeria is no different. And of course it varies across the different states. And so this was a meeting whereby the Ministry of Health laid out the initiatives for tackling nutrition, the nutrition crisis, we all call it. And that, of course, involves working with expectant mothers and, of course, the children, particularly for the first 1,000 days of their lives, which is the time at which, without the correct nutrition, without the proper diet, they lose 50% of their productivity later in life. So, of course, that is everybody's priority.
Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, emphasized the administration's commitment to prioritizing nutrition as a crucial component of national development, noting that the meeting, which received updates on Nigeria's current nutritional status, focused on proposing actionable recommendations and exploring ways to enhance the implementation of existing nutrition intervention programs in line with national policy.
With the political will, not just at the federal level, but at the state level, we will decisively deal with food inflation and the availability of food, the affordability of food, and of course, the care for our young ones and our expectant mothers through adequate nutrition and diet support.
The Council has also adopted plans to build resilience and social protection networks for vulnerable groups, promote nutrition research, and improve the agriculture sector's capacity to address food security and malnutrition, all aimed at providing nutrition education, social marketing, advocacy, as well as conducting nutrition surveillance, monitoring and evaluation to ensure the effectiveness of the initiatives. From the State House, Abdulrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
A Senate Committee on Finance has met with heads of key ministries and agencies of government as it seeks more effective strategy to revamp the economy. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
This meeting between the legislature and executive is crucial, as both are determined to formulate and inject right prescription to put Nigeria's economy on a steady growth trajectory. The Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited brought with him some good news. Nigeria's main revenue-earning commodity, the crude oil, is set to hit 2 million barrels per day production level.
And we're very optimistic that by December this country will be net exporter. That means combination of production coming from us and also from the Dangote refinery and other smaller producing companies that we know are in line to do this.
I've come to realize that the easiest way for Nigeria to come out of its economic problems is through the oil and gas sector.
The custodian of the nation's treasury, the Central Bank of Nigeria, points to rising inflation and foreign exchange rate fluctuations as areas of concern, but that these two, according to emerging indicators, will be moving downwards.
We cannot delink ourselves from the larger global economy, and some of these challenges are what other economies, both developed and developing, are going through at the moment.
From the Minister of Budget and National Planning comes the assurance that government is working to avoid disruptions as it implements the 2024 budget.
Negotiations with the Nigerian Labour Congress has been ongoing to ensure that there is no further disruption in the economy. Interventions to support the vulnerable and the weak have been ongoing.
We have had negativities in the economy, and now we are trying to bring the positivities to work.
The lawmakers and policymakers re-echoed appeals to Nigerians to support government as it strategizes to keep the economy on track. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Senate and House of Representatives today suspended plenary and other parliamentary activities to mourn the death of Representative Ekene Abubakar Adams, who died in the early hours of Tuesday at the age of 39. Until his death, Ekene Adams represented Chikun Kajiri Federal Constituency from Kaduna State and was the chairman, House Committee on Sports. Lawmakers in both chambers of the National Assembly observed a minute silence as a mark of respect for the late lawmaker. The presiding officers expressed shock at losing another lawmaker 6 days after the death of Representative Olaide Akiremi of Oyo State.
Involved in generating support and funding for Nigerian Olympians at the forthcoming Paris Olympics. In fact, the House was meant to receive the Nigerian delegation today before the tragic news of his passing reached us.
The sudden demise of Honorable Adams occurred at the early hours of today, 16th day of July, 2024, after a prolonged illness. Because of this tragedy, the Senate will not continue proceedings today.
Late Adams was one-time general manager of Remo Stars Football Club in Ogun State before contesting and winning the House of Reps selection on the platform of the Labour Party in 2023. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's take a break now. More reports when we return.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. 4 fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis. Tune in to NTA News 24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
Thanks for joining us again. As the rains intensify, cholera cases are also increasing across the country, and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention says other epidemic-prone diseases such as yellow fever, Lassa fever, and meningitis are now on the rise. At a media engagement in Abuja, Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, says rapid response teams have been deployed to states with increasing cholera cases and assures that the federal government is committed to breaking the chain of the disease transmission. Oluseyi Adeabo has details.
The cholera epidemiological summary of the NCDC as of 14th July 2024 indicates there are 3,623 suspected cases with 103 fatalities recorded across 34 states and the FCT. To counter the spread of these waterborne disease and others known to be on the rise during rainy seasons, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) wants governments at the sub-nationals and relevant ministries, especially water resources and sanitation, to keep prioritizing actions that will ensure access to use of safe water.
We have deployed national rapid response teams to the top 6 states, contributing about 83% of the cases. We still have our eyes on the ball as we continue to strengthen case management efforts to sustain the decline in fatality ratio, or to report the global target case fatality rate of less than 1%. That's the target.
On control measures and response to cholera outbreak and other emerging health issues, the center is disenchanted with underreporting of the situation in some states.
The trend analysis from previous outbreaks shows the peak of the outbreak usually coincides with the peak of the rainy season, which is still some weeks ahead. Although almost all the states in Nigeria have reported cases of cholera now, there appears to be an underreporting of the situation, as required data from the states are not coming real time as expected. What this means is that some states may not be reporting because they feel it's a stigma. Because if you say, you have cholera in a state, they may not like it. But the fact is that if they don't report, they are endangering the lives of their people.
Dr. Jide Idris also encouraged sanitary and health authorities, including the media, to intensify awareness on personal and environmental hygiene, especially hand washing. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
With the cooperation of market women and other traders in the country, efforts by the current administration to address current hike in the prices of commodities will soon yield results. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this during a visit to the Oba of Lagos, Oba Ridwan Akiolu, at his Idugaram Palace. She says the challenges confronting the economy, though daunting, are not insurmountable and are already receiving sincere attention from government. Appreciating the Oba of Lagos and other traditional institutions in the country for their support, the First Lady encouraged Nigerians not to despair but continue to pray for the leaders. Oba Akiolu, while praying for the success of the current administration, applauded the First Lady for her support, citing her numerous interventions in promoting social security in the country. The monarch called for more reforms in tax administration and admonished Nigerian youths to abstain from drug abuse. The First Lady was accompanied on the visit by wives of state governors in the Southwest. Personal assistant to the President on Constituency Affairs, Khadijat Karim, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is committed to improving the lives of their citizens. She emphasized the need for Nigerians to support the President's commitment to building a Nigeria that works for all. This is as a team from her office engaged the people of Taraba State in a town hall meeting as part of its bottom-up approach to delivering on the President's promise to Nigerians.
Renew Hope is alive. The government is working tirelessly to ensure that this administration strive and succeed by ensuring that all states of the Federation is engaged fully in the development.
The engagement through conversations around the needed and abandoned projects in the state that require federal government's urgent attention.
I want to draw Mr. President's attention on youth empowerment, specifically on artificial intelligence.
Like student loan fund, I think we also private students we have to be included.
No matter how you build your tertiary institutions, once your primary stage is not good, I didn't think we are going anywhere. We need quality education there.
The road from Donga to Mararaba. The project has been started from Donga town to Mararaba, but now the project has been stopped. We need federal government intervention on it.
The Mambila Power Hydro project. And we want Mr. President to complete this project.
Numan to Jalingo Road. The road has been awarded contract for a long time and nothing has been done.
If women are able to farm, how can they sell it? We have bad roads. The off-takers come around to buy in a small amount.
Here in Taraba State, we farm rice enough, like in Lao, even in Jalingo here. And what we are pleading with Mr. President is to make the farming equipment to be cheaper for the farmers.
Earlier, the team was at the palace of the Emir of Muri, Alhaji Abbas Jida Tafeda, on a courtesy visit, while the monarch acknowledged President Tinubu's inclusive policies, especially the creation of the new Ministry of Livestock. The event also featured free medical services to Tarabans, while report on the issues raised is expected to be forwarded to the President for necessary action. The administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to providing adequate training for energy and petroleum experts within Nigeria to reduce spending on overseas training. The State Minister for Petroleum, Henikin Ilokbobiri, disclosed this development during an inspection tour at the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies at Rigachikun in Kaduna State. Mohammed Omar Jingi reports.
Along the Kaduna-Zaria Highway is this world-class training college. The building stands out with its impressive architecture and modern design. The construction of this magnificent College of Petroleum and Energy Studies on over 100 hectares of land to provide the state-of-the-art infrastructure needed for the training of the manpower in the energy sector. The Minister of State for Petroleum is here for on-the-spot assessment of the state-of-the-art facilities, accompanied by the Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund. The State Minister inspected the various departments, laboratories.
When this facility is put to use, we'll be afforded the opportunity of training a lot more people, in relevant, fields related to the petroleum, and petroleum industry, as opposed to what we are doing today. Today we spend a lot of money training one person in the UK, in Germany, in France, and other parts of the world.
The vision of the college is to become a world-class training institute, serving the needs of the energy industry in Nigeria and Africa.
It is expected that when this college commences full operations, it will address the growing demand of professional skilled manpower in the energy sector in Nigeria. Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is assuring higher institutions of learning of its support in the provision of the needed infrastructure for a conducive learning environment. Chairman, House Committee on University Education, Abubakar Hassan Fulata, said as this during an oversight visit to Federal University, Lokoja, Kogi State. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
The season is here, and the legislators are on oversight to ensure that due process is followed in spending of budgetary allocations. Issue of inconsistency in most of the reports on internally generated revenue was raised.
No university has ever confronted us with a request for appropriating the amount so far generated by those universities internally.
During the oversight, the committee inspected some projects at the university and expressed worries with the decay of infrastructure.
My appeal to the committee is to assist us to make sure that the campus is secured. The campus is porous, no perimeter fencing.
We are going to do our best to assist the university in overcoming the infrastructural challenge. With regards to security, we'll take it up with the relevant agencies and committees. The hostels are completely empty. Nobody stays, apart from the night watchmen, nobody stays on campus.
The committee is expected to visit other institutions across the North Central Zone. In Abuja, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
No Nigerian public university, says Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman. He said the clarification became necessary following pronouncements in certain quarters alluding sale of universities. Zanret Digmam reports.
Professor Maman says education remains one of the key areas of interest of the present administration. As such, there's need to create formidable systems that will produce the needed and capable manpower for the country's leadership and economic needs. Hence, collaboration with well-meaning partners to further enhance the system.
As we all know, this government has not shied away from reforms that this country needs. The private sector for decades now have played a major role in the provision of tertiary education. There are more than double private universities in Nigeria than public universities combined. What this government has done is to open up the tertiary education level, in particular, the universities for global competitiveness.
Meanwhile, the ministry has formally announced the release of the 2024 National Common Entrance Examination into federal unity colleges across the country and the Federal Government Academy, Suleja. Minister of State for Education, Yusuf Tanko Sununu, made this known while briefing newsmen in Abuja.
Only tool we can use in achieving that uniform eradication of poverty is when we prioritize our education. And Mr. President has done so, and we do hope that state governors will also queue in the same line so that we can save this our country, Nigeria.
He says the NTA results constitute 71,291 registered candidates. 66,931 sat for the examination, while 4,360 were absent, with the highest obtained score of 203 and the lowest obtained score of 1 by 13 candidates. For the Federal Government Academy examination, 2,649 candidates registered, while 2,336 sat for the examination, with 313 absent. The highest score of 180 and the lowest score of 5 were recorded. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
Time for another break now. More reports when we return.